Greetings, UGC, and welcome. This is my first broadcast for YouTube, and I'm inspired by the rain this morning. It is raining. I absolutely love what the rain does for my mind and how I'm able to relax and really think and reflect on things. So I decided that today would be the perfect day for my first ever podcast for YouTube. And my message to unattractive women, and I know that word is difficult to hear for a lot of women. You're offended by it. You feel that it's negative. You feel that it's tied into self-deprecation and self-doubt and all the things that is wrong with being a woman. If you're unattractive, then something is wrong with you. And a lot of you feel this way. But my platform is one where I'm asking, I'm not telling you, I'm asking and I'm suggesting that you think of beauty in another way, as a separate entity from the real value you possess as a woman. And I'm asking you to separate the two so that people don't feel intentional or entitled to abuse you if they don't find you attractive. Or should I say, they will probably want to abuse you if they don't find you attractive. But you, being a woman that separates your value from beauty, you don't allow them to do that. I think that is the goal. Well, I know that is the goal. And it's a hard thing to do because as I've coached many of you over the years, and I've been doing this for 20 years, some of you just found out about me like last month or maybe 2 or 3 years ago. This has been a long journey for me in devoting my life and my time to helping women, and initially Black women, now it's all women, but initially Black women see their value in spite of being marginalized and separated from the useful ones or the valuable ones in society, right? And it's an uphill climb because you most likely have been told all your life, from the time you could have a conversation with your mother and formulate your first words, you have been told that being pretty is a duty. Being pretty is an obligation that you have. Being pretty is a part of the value that you bring to any relationship. And if you don't have that, then you are warned that you will be mistreated. You are warned that people will hate you. You are warned that people won't respect you. You are warned that men won't love you. And you've been told this from the moment you've had understanding, from the moment you've had your first period and you were aware of your womanhood, aware of your vanity, let's say. And it wasn't about playing hopscotch and double dutch and making mud pies and lining up your dolls and pretending to be a princess anymore. When it got real, and you finally realize that, okay, I gotta look good so boys will like me. I gotta look good so the teacher won't ignore me. I gotta look good so my parents will love me. Then it was a whole nother animal. So how do you combat that? All those years of conditioning, all those years of being told that the way to solve all of your problems as a woman, as a young lady, is through beauty. Beauty is going to solve your income problems, your self-esteem problems. For some, they believe even their health issues would be resolved through the practice of beauty. How do you leap over the heavy biases that are created through hearing repetitiously these notions and these suppositions and these opinions throughout your life? Well, I ask you to first consider your results. And if you're not getting the results that you want, how do you change? How do you start getting the results that you want? And I believe the first step to getting the results that you want, or to stop getting the results that you don't want, is a change in mindset or a change in your belief system. There is no way you're going to see a new result thinking an old way. But your thoughts and beliefs are your identity. They have become your identity, and it's hard to let them go. So I ask you to consider your identity as something flexible, something malleable, something that you can add to and take away from, something that is not fixed, but transient. Start looking at your beliefs as something that can be challenged, and something that maybe should be challenged, especially and in particular if you are not getting the results that you want in life, right? I want you to sit with your beliefs and go, okay, for instance, and for example, because many of you say this, black men don't want to marry black women. That's a belief. Black men don't respect black women. That's also a belief. And some of you believe this and still want to marry black men. Some of you believe this while you are dating in relationships and maybe even have husbands who are black men. So when you believe something that's counterintuitive or counterproductive to the direction that you want to go, it creates anxiety. It creates frustration. It creates a self-doubt, and it creates a distrust in yourself and in how you think. Many of us have beliefs that we don't believe. Let me repeat that. Many of us have beliefs that we don't believe. There's no conviction behind it, but we believe it because it's fueled by fear. We believe it because we're watching it play out maybe in another woman's life, and we go, aha, that's the reality. That's my reality, even if it's never happened to you. You take it on as a part of you. This is why it's so important when you are in the healing process to sort of isolate yourself from a lot of the noise. If you are doing self-work, listening to roundtable debates about things that offer conflicting views of which you're trying to maybe rid yourself of are not helpful. They're not helpful. If you want to fortify belief, you should read a book on it. You should tune into someone who's discussing why this thing is a positive thing to have, do, or be. You should seek out those who are living out the experiences that you are hoping for in order to fortify you. But what I find with many women is that they don't want to believe what they believe, and they don't believe what they believe because, again, it's glued together by fear. But they don't want to let it go either because it's triggering. And because the triggering aspect of the fearful belief makes them feel alive in an ironic sort of way. Other than that, they feel very dead inside, very melancholy, very bored. So it's almost as if the anger is what gives them excitement and makes them feel alive. And we are addicted to anger. And this is why it's so hard to get rid of certain beliefs. Because if you're fearful of something you believe, you're angry at it too. But you don't want to let it go. Because it's like, what's going to make me mad now? What's going to turn me on? Because the only thing that really turns me on is my frustration at this point. So if you take that away from me, now I'm going to have to deal with my depression, because the anger that I was feeling was masking the depression. It was a hedge or a buffer for the depression that I'm trying to stave off. You're trying to take away my anger and then have me deal with my feelings, Salkis? Oh my God. But that's what we have to do. If your goal is really to heal, you have to deal with your feelings. You can't sweep them under the rug. You can't put a hedge between you and how you feel and think you're going to get another result, because how you feel is the operating system of your entire life. How you feel is how you eat. How you feel is how you dress. How you feel is what you say. How you feel is what you do. How you feel is who you love. How you feel is who you hate. It is your operating system. And you have to look at it. You have to look at your feelings. You have to look at how you feel about what you believe. If you want to turn things around, you got to like your beliefs. You got to decide, everything that I believe, I got to love it. It's got to work for me. It's got to propel me forward. It's got to make me a better woman. It's got to bring me closer to my goals. My beliefs have to be my friend. UGC, my friend. So I created this platform for us to understand these things, for us to reflect. Self-reflection is really big here at the UGC, really big. And if you're uncomfortable with self-reflection, if you're uncomfortable with taking responsibility, you're not going to find too much benefit here, because that is really what this thing is about. We are saboteurs to our own lives. We diminish ourselves on a daily basis, but point the finger at other people. So what other people say, someone can say, you know what, you're unattractive. That's been told to me my entire life, right? And you have a choice in how you process that. You can go, yes, I agree with you, which is something I don't have an issue with. I am an ugly girl, right? Because I'm not playing the beauty game with anybody, because it is nothing but a game. So I understand it for that. I don't take it seriously. And this is why I have no problem calling myself ugly. But I'm talking about for the rest of you who are still hanging on to the definitions of value and cloaking it in beauty. If someone calls you unattractive, you have two choices. You can agree with them or not. And in your agreement with them, if you agree with them, now you start acting in accordance with what they have told you that you are, which means your behaviors, your worries, what you think is important, is now something you're going to seek information from them to get. Now you're going to be concerned. If you agree with them, you're now going to be concerned about what they think about all other things, not just how you look, but what you should be doing, what you should be thinking, what you should be saying, what you should be wearing, what you should be eating, what trips you should be taking, what you should find valuable. Now you're looking to them for your whole identity when you believe. For example, when they call you unattractive. And again, this is for those of you who find value in it. I don't find value in playing the game of beauty. And on this platform, one of our maxims is beauty is a tool, not a virtue. And I live by that. And what does that mean? It means that beauty doesn't make you good. You're not good because you are beautiful. You're not a good character, a good person, a good human being because you are beautiful. One has nothing to do with the other. If you show up caring, loving, concerned, generous, involved in someone's life, you are a virtuous person, in spite of what you look like. So I'm always of the idea that separating the two keeps your sanity intact, and it keeps foolishness away, and it keeps suggestions or confusing dialogue or confusing assumptions that you think a person may have about you at bay. Because once you take beauty off the table, you know what goes with it? Innuendo, insinuations, gray areas. That's what goes away with it. And you can clearly see and clearly define a person's intent, because now you're evaluating their virtue by what they do, not by how they think you look. Do you see the game? Do you see it? Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? All right, so that's the end of my first ever podcast for this UGC platform. For those of you who are interested in being interviewed and want to tell your story and share your life with us by talking to me, you can always email me at herselfesteem@gmail.com or info@theuglygirlsclub.com, and we can set up a podcast interview where you can share and talk about your life and maybe give some advice of your own and some new perspectives for our listeners. All right, subscribe to theuglygirlsclub.com. Make sure you subscribe to the site. And head on over to Patreon too. We have live discussions over there that will be of tremendous benefit to you as well, because we are about healing on this platform. All right, peace and love.